Forgot my cane.
Oh,
You would have
okay.
really found out something.
All right. Well, sir, thank you so much for coming this evening. Really, we really appreciate your coming here. We know it's been a long trip and you've come a long way, but really, we really appreciate your coming here.
Make it
But-
snappy.
Oh, okay.
What do
okay.
you think I got all day?
I know you've got a lot to do.
Everything hurts.
So let me just ask you this first. What should we call you first off?
Just call me 5. Make it
Okay,
simple.
Call you 5. All right. Now, over the years, you must have met a lot of people.
Oh, I met a lot of people. Of course, you live 5,000 years. What do you think? You don't rub shoulders with a lot of people? Of course you do.
Just pardon me, sir. I noticed you have a Yiddish accent.
A Yiddish accent. All my friends, they have a Boston accent.
What friends?
All my Yiddish friends.
Ah, I see. Oh, your Yiddish friends. Okay. Well, let's just name some names from history and just give us the insight on them, all right?
Go ahead.
So let's start. Did you ever meet Jesus?
Of course I met Jesus. I met Jesus as a small boy. He was always troubled. Always looking to give everybody advice. Never listened to any advice. Nothing.
What kind of advice did he give?
Yeah, he was a do-gooder. He was always telling people to do good, like he said, bless the deaf.
I bless the deaf? I never heard of that.
Neither did the deaf.
Was there anything special about him?
Yeah, for one thing, he never cut his hair. He had something about, who would listen to somebody with hair like that? And the other thing was, he never spent a nickel.
Never spent a nickel? How do you happen to know that?
You don't see the signs? Jesus saves? What's with you?
Okay. All right. Now, you have to feel good that Jesus made it so big and you knew him when.
I knew him when. If he'd cut his hair, people would still be talking about him. They never mention him.
Now, for Christ's sake, what are you talking about? People never mention him. Please. Oh, let's take another character from history.
Go ahead.
Moses.
Oh.
Did you ever meet Moses?
Of course I knew Moses again as a small boy. He was a basket case from the beginning.
Oh, okay. All right. And then what happened to him?
Oh, he got worse and worse. I tell you, he got so bad. He started telling us, can you believe this? That he was talking to God.
Really?
And we said, connect us. And you know what he said?
What's that?
We got the wrong number.
Oh, my goodness.
God only talks to special people.
All right. Well, what did you do to Moses then?
We didn't say nothing. We just beat him up.
Beat him up. Oh, my goodness. So for a moment, let's see. How far back did you actually go?
5,000 years. We went back to the Garden of Eden. What do you think?
Garden of Eden. So did you know Adam?
Who do you think put the snake in the garden?
Who? Let us know.
I have no idea. But if I find out, I'm going to kick some butt.
Wow, 5,000-year-old man going to kick some butt. How do you like that? Wow,
I may get to yours.
Really? Well, how do you explain your longevity?
Well, a couple of ways. For one thing, I'm always sneezing. Hatsu!
God bless you.
You do that 500 times a day and you get 500 God bless you. It does very good as far as getting you to live a long time.
I see.
And the other thing is,
yes,
you better pray that whatever you wish for doesn't come true.
Ah, good, okay, good advice for us. Now, getting to some more interesting things, you must have met a few women in your day.
Oh, I met a few women. Believe me, I met a few women.
Really?
More than a few.
More than a few.
Yeah,
okay.
I met
Let's
a few.
just take a woman from history, Cleopatra, for example.
Right, Cleopatra. I called her Cleo. She was very hot. But she lived in the desert. So of course she was hot. But she was a terrible kisser.
Really?
Oh, terrible. No foreplay, none. She wanted to get right to business. No kisses, right down to business. Thank goodness they hadn't invented watches then. But she did have a sundial.
Ah, sundial. So how did that affect your lovemaking?
We made love in the shade.
Ah, very good. All right. Yes, even today, lovemaking, when you have a clock, it's not very good, except, of course, if the Pats are playing, you know. Did you know about the Pats, for example?
Yeah. Who do you think fixed Bob Kraft up with that beautiful young girl?
Ah.
She was calling me every day. I had enough. I turned it right over to him. Let's see how good he does handling her. I don't think he's going to do that well. He's got his own troubles.
All right. So you say you hundreds of women, not all at the same time, of course.
Oh, thank goodness, no.
Uh-huh. Okay. So let's just take another woman from Marie Antoinette, for example.
Yeah, I knew her too. We called her the Flower Girl.
Flower Girl?
Yeah, she said to me, just eat cake.
Just eat cake. Okay. Very good. How about another woman in history, Joan of Arc?
Oh, she was also a hot one, especially when she got tied up. She was a vegetarian.
Really?
Yeah, and I took her out to a restaurant, and guess what? She said she was dying for a steak.
Oh, God. Oh, okay.
I've heard some groaning in my life. It's all right.
Okay.
I know it hurts.
All right. Since we mentioned Cleopatra, how about Julius Caesar?
Oh, a blowhard if ever there was one. Always bragging, always, acting like he was a big shot. But a terrible dresser.
Really?
Never found a toga that fit. Have no idea why they named a dressing after him.
Nah, they named the dressing. Oh, my goodness. So with Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, there, of course, we have to mention Mark Antony.
Yeah, about that, she was in denial.
In denial.
Yeah, she was in denial.
Oh. I
All
noticed,
right, you can groan. I've heard my share of groaning.
I noticed you called her Cleo. I mean, that was really affectionate term, Cleo.
Yeah, well, I had an in with her.
Really?
Yeah, me and Attila. She loved Attila.
Attila?
She loved the way he smelled.
Really?
She did, yeah.
Really? Attila?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. And now, there were some characteristics of her in Egypt that were really outstanding.
Yeah, everybody said that she had the finest ass in Egypt.
Oh. How about Lady Godiva?
Oh, she was something. I knew her and I knew her husband, the king. And it's true. He said, if you ride through the town naked, I won't tax the people. And she did it. But there was one rule. No peeping.
Ah.
No peeping.
And what happened?
I peeped.
Really?
I did.
And well, let's hear.
Well, what you want to hear about is the horse.
Oh.
In your whole life, you've never seen such a happy horse. Did you ever see a horse smile? This horse smiled from ear to ear with big teeth. He was the happiest horse I ever saw.
What about Methuselah? Now, he was supposedly lived a long time.
Yeah, he was always around. But he said he was very old, lied about his age. Couldn't believe a word the man said.
Really?
Really.
Okay. All right. Now, let's just change the subject for a little bit. Talk about holidays.
Yeah.
What
We
about holidays?
invented every holiday.
Oh, really?
Every holiday that there is and there was, we made up. What do you think? Where do you think the holidays came from? We made them.
Really?
Yeah.
Take Passover, for example. What
You,
about
you
Passover?
take it.
You take
I have no idea who came up with Passover.
Really?
No, I didn't even get invited to the first Seder.
Really?
They didn't have me, no. The third Seder.
Third Seder. Oh, okay. Yeah, what was it like at the third Seder?
Seder is supposed to mean order. You have never in your life seen such disorder. Everybody wanted to be boss. For 2 days they fought. Who's the boss? Who's going to run it? They finally got hungry.
Really?
Yeah, they sat down to eat, finally.
What, was Jesus there?
Jesus was there. He hosted the thing.
He was. Okay. So now it's at the Seder. They probably had we had a lot of wine here this evening and a lot of variety of wine. What was it like at the Seder?
Well, I think you're talking about the last dinner, right?
The Last
Supper.
The Last Supper.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
get
was a
mixed up
Seder
between
too.
dinners and suppers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened at the Last Supper?
Well, everybody complained about the food. Everybody said it was the worst food they ever tasted. Ever.
Really?
Except for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was leg of lamb, and all there was leg.
Ah.
There was no lamb.
Huh. Anything else served there?
Yeah. They had Jesus of Nazareth.
Oh. Okay. So just another item in history, inventions. Let's talk about inventions. So since the beginning of time, what was the greatest invention in your eyes?
Well, all my friends, including my Yiddish friends, every one of them say toilet paper. But me, no. I say forks.
Forks? The greatest invention of all times? You have sliced bread, you have iPads, Viagra, and you say forks?
I say forks.
Let's hear.
Well, the reason I say forks is when you go back at the beginning of time, there was no way to get around except your legs. And everybody hurt, and they all walk slow. So you give them a little bit with a fork, and you should have seen them move. Work better than any horn.
Oh, okay. Well, I usually use forks to picking up food, unless, of course, nobody's looking. But when did they start using forks for food?
Hands aren't good enough.
I see. All right. So now, what about transportation? Camels, for example.
There was never such a thing as a camel. What a stupid question. There never was a camel. What there were horses. And there were fewer horses than people. So we used to horse pull.
Horse pull.
Why? Sure, we horse pulled. 6 of us would jump on one horse.
Really?
But really, what do you think happened?
No, what happened?
The horse got tired and a hump.
Oh.
6 people on a horse, and they developed a hump.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how they were camels.
I see.
They never knew that.
How do you like that? So now, you must have developed some close friendships over these years.
Never. Never had a friend. No. Because if you have friends, one, you got to go to funerals. And funerals interrupt your life. You got to go to parties. You got to bring gifts. Never had friends. If you want to live a long life, no friends.
No friends.
You don't want friends.
Okay. Well, how about a friend? Did you ever have a friend, a 2,000-year-old man, for example?
He was not a friend.
Oh?
No, he was a faker.
A faker?
He was a faker. He took all my ideas and he went out and he sold them. He made a lot of money. And 2,000, who could live 2,000 years? Well, you believe anybody could live 2,000 years? He said he lived. He didn't live no 2,000.
No.
He made it all up.
Made it all
Mel
up.
Brooks is his name.
Mel Brooks is his name. I see.
He's a faker.
Faker. He spoke about Noah, for example.
Yeah, well, do the math. 2,000 years, he could have known Noah. I knew Noah.
You knew that.
This was his wine flask.
Really?
Yeah, there's still wine in it. Talk about aged.
Yeah. Well, he sure didn't miss the boat, though, Noah.
No, but he was all wet.
I see. What about wives now? All these years.
Well, in the beginning, there was no such thing as wives. There was no
really?
No
wives?
No, there was no such thing as marriage. We saw somebody, we liked the way they looked, we grabbed them by the nose, we took them back to their cave. And you know what? Didn't matter if we liked the way they looked. We just took them back to the cave.
Just took them back to the cave.
But
okay.
then some do-gooders came along and they said, marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah, they talked about marriage.
So what about marriage? Were you ever married?
Many, many times, over 100 times.
Over 100 times? Wow, what happened to all these women?
Well, they said I wore them out.
Wore them out. Oh, wowee.
They all died.
All died. Wowee. Now, I heard a rumor that you were actually married to a famous actress. Who was that?
You're right. I was married to Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
Yep.
And tell us about that.
Well, she heard that I knew Cleopatra. She was making the movie, Antony and Cleopatra. So she wanted to know me better, so she married me.
Really? And how long did that marriage last?
3 days.
All of 3 days?
3
what
days.
Happened?
She woke up one morning and she stretched and she said, I feel like a real man.
So, would you mind?
Try that again.
You feel like a new man.
I feel like a new man. She woke up and she said, I feel like a new man.
So would you mind?
Real man doesn't work.
Would you mind telling us, in all these years, what was your favorite era?
Oh. You know, I went through a lot of eras. You know, that's a tough question. I would say the French Revolution.
The French Revolution? People were losing their heads.
Yeah, the guillotines never worked. Don't believe the rumors. It never worked. It was the best time ever. Because Napoleon was shot, and I'm shot, and all of a sudden shot became very sexy.
Oh.
I did okay.
Did okay.
You notice for 5,000 years, I'm pretty short.
Oh, okay.
I didn't grow much.
Okay. Now, Napoleon had a name, Napoleon Bonaparte. Where did that name come from?
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but he was Siamese twin.
Really?
And when they separated, they said, Bonaparte.
Ah. And what did they... And what did they call the other... What did they call the other child?
Dead.
What were the worst years?
Oh, the worst years. I had many bad years, but I would say the worst years were the 60s in New York with the so-called sexual revolution.
Wow, what did you think of it?
It was revolting.
Oh, what was it like?
Well, you know, it was a sexual revolution. You couldn't walk down the street without a man or a woman approaching you, wanting to take you home. But even then, it was 50 years ago, I was old. What could I do? It was very hard on me. And all those young sexual revolutionaries, they were getting all the way. It was terrible.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, I'll bet that was really tough.
It was tough.
It was tough. Well, let's get to more modern times. How about some recent leaders? Did you meet any of those recent leaders?
Yeah, I met George W. Bush. He begged me to go to the White House and meet him.
George W. Bush? Really?
Yeah, he said he loved history. He said he loved history.
Why did he keep saying that?
He loved history.
I see. Okay, and what did you think of him?
You know what? He reminded me of Moses.
Moses?
Yeah.
How did George Bush remind you of Moses?
Yeah, he was also a basket case.
Ah.
And he said he spoke to God too.
I see. Okay. And did you beat him up like you beat up Moses?
No, but I gave him a noogie.
Ah. Okay, that's fascinating. And anything else happened in your interaction with George Bush?
Yeah, he asked me for some advice.
Yes, go ahead.
I told him to mind his own stinking business.
Mind his own Okay, very good. Now, what you've been living for 5,000 years. What plans do you have for the future?
Lunch.
Lunch. And anything beyond lunch?
Yeah, I want an early bird dinner. As a matter of fact, I went so early for the early bird dinner, I ate it yesterday.
Hey, okay. So now people are gathered here. Do you have any advice for us after this perspective of 5,000 years? Please give us some words of wisdom.
If you can only remember.
Yes.
When I remember, I'll tell you all.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. 5,000-year-old man. Thank you very much. Thank you. 5,000 years. Thank you very much. Bob Eisenberg, if you don't know anymore. Bob Eisenberg. 5,000 years.
It hurts to bend. Everything hurts.
Next, Bob.
I'm just thinking, what's left? He's still moving. Not very well, but he's moving. What's it like being married to somebody 5,000 years?
It's not been easy.
And what's your prediction for the future? Besides lunch?
I won't be unhappy when he goes back to his own family. They can take care of him.
He has no family. They all died. Even his kids.
Well, I think it was very nice to have him here tonight.
You think? Yeah. He deserved to be a guest.
He deserves to be a guest. It would be nice if he'd share some of this wine.
He's not nice. He's never been nice. Fancy dresser he is. Yes.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell us about the shoes. We thought you
I've
were
been looking for
sandals.
good shoes that fit for 1,000 years. These are 75 years old.
Thank you all.
Yeah, great audience.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming and staying.
Yeah. Does anybody want an autograph?